So I got involved with Intertwined because last year my brother Harrison Klaiss was a storyteller for the event, and it was the first time I had ever seen him perform any sort of creative writing. And I was inspired to start writing. I started writing my own poetry. Sadly, my brother passed away last year. That's what this story is actually about. But writing this story for him and inspired by him was a really nice way to kind of reconnect with him and this new shared connection we had through writing. And that even though he couldn't be here to listen to it and write alongside with me, that other people could get to share that connection with me too. On September 24th, 2019, my brother Harrison moved into his dorm at the University of Oregon. It was our first time living in the same city since I had left our hometown 6 years before to go to college myself. On a few open afternoons for the next 3 years, Harry and I would meet up for coffee at that Starbucks at the EMU, snag a table out by the fishbowl. I'd sit there with both hands on my cup, kind of hunched over like this, and he would sit there with his chair kind of pushed back from the table so he had room for his long legs to stretch out. And he'd ask me for advice on school, relationships, life. I felt like I had done something right, that we could be apart for so long, and he still felt comfortable coming to me about anything. On May 3rd, 2022, Harrison stood on stage at Global Scholars Hall for Intertwined, Lost and Found. He told this brilliant story about his odyssey in his car with his best friend Ram from New Jersey to his new home in Oregon. On July 2nd, 2022, my baby brother Harrison took his last breath in his apartment on the corner of 19th and Harris Alley. As a physicist, I thought a lot about how the last of his energy had to have escaped out the cracks in the doors and windows and sunk into the earth because energy has to be conserved. But there is nothing, no model, equation, law of physics that can describe the behavior of the universe and everything in it exactly. As a sister, my worldview completely shattered when I lost my brother to suicide. I mean, how had I not known what he was going through? I had literally just seen him. This thread that I thought connecting us snapped. It slid through my fingers, fell to the floor, and mocked my assumptions. I had become too dependent on the predictive powers of observation and interaction. On October 15th, 2 days before what would have been my brother's 22nd birthday, I started writing letters to him as a way to journal. November 9th. Hey, Hare. I'm getting kind of uncomfortable. As I apply for these jobs I know I'm very qualified for and finish this PhD I know I deserve, it feels like it doesn't mean anything because I wasn't doing what I needed to do to keep you around. I know that you loved and admired me, but did you feel connected to me? And do I have any true connections or do I just shrink away? What does it even mean to be connected to a human being at this point? November 19th. What does it mean to be known? To be present in somebody's neural pathways when your physical being can no longer be the trigger? Can we be understood? December 14th. How does anybody think I'm able to act like a normal human being right now? Oh, because I told them I could? Oh my God, please. Why don't people understand that this broke my entire understanding of love and human connection? How am I expected to think that anything that I say or do really matters to any one person's life? I mean, why can't I and why shouldn't I just live for myself at this point? And why can't I scream at anybody to understand? Because I feel like if I did, they probably wouldn't. I don't know, Hare. It's just hard to articulate how my entire life changed in 1 second, and then it took 5 months for it to smack me in the fucking face. Over the next week or so, I thought about the connections I had in my life, past, present, future, what they meant to me, and what I wanted from them, and not what anybody else expected from me. 5 months into life, 5 months into grief, 6 years into graduate school, 27 years into life. I was comforted by the fact that all of our lives are extremely valuable and worth connecting with, however we naturally do for however long. Talking to Hare about this helped me realize that I could have these connections and that they could be temporary, but they could still be extremely meaningful. December 24th. Merry Christmas, Hare. I don't think today actually would have been that much different, except of course more fun, because you would have been there. I suppose you're missing out on a lot of that because you're not here. But I suppose you're also missing out on a lot of that pain that I could just not understand. And do I need to? Can I not accept that there are some diseases and decisions that I will never understand? But this is something that happened, and then my life continues. I am so sorry, really, that I could not help you in the way that you needed to be living the life that you deserve. But here we are. I love you. I miss you so much. I hope to see you sometime in a dream or a sign, however you want to pop up for me. The letters have slowed down quite a bit in the last few months, but every once in a while, memories of my brother's life will skip across the Great Lakes of mine, sending ripples that churn up what's settled below, sometimes when I least expect it. And maybe that's what connection is. Not a thread, but a wave. Not this structured, breakable thing, but a movement of energy, undulations through time and space that continue long after the initial contact time has ceased. Interaction and propagation. A week before my brother passed, we took our last family trip to Crater Lake. Hare and I booked it down the Fleetwood Cove Trail, huffing and puffing while talking about school, relationships, life. And when we made it down to the water, we skipped stones while we waited for Mom to meet us. I was thinking about that memory, and I wrote a poem about it. And I think he'd be proud. The skipping stones we find are smooth and asymmetric, polished by the wake, buffed to enhance their hue. A lifetime on the shore neglected instantaneously, we send them gliding across the surface. 1, 2, 3. Ripples from each contact breathe into the fathoms, and the skipping stones sink below our view, tethered to their source, resting once more.